My name is Earl Herzog. I'm a Master Gunnery Sergeant in the United States Marine Corps.
I am Sergeant Robert Kleppinger. From 1943 until 45, World War II, the European theater.
Well, I was called Sergeant Brown. I was in the United States Air Force for 20 years. I was involved in satellite operations.
Sergeant Robert L. Johnson, USMC. Served in Da Nang, Vietnam, a place called Marble Mountain. It was an air base outside of Da Nang.
My name is Dave Gunkel, and I was Airman First Class. I served from 1953 to 1957.
Builder Chief Petty Officer David Sharp. I'm in the United States Navy Seabees. I'm going to be retiring from service in September with 21 years.
I was Spec 4 Jim Williams, United States Army, stationed in Bad Kreuznach, Germany, 8th Division Army Band. But that's not how my original training was as a machine gunner.
My incentive to join the military was my mother and father were both alcoholics, and I wanted to get out of that environment a year prior to that. My brother had joined the Marine Corps, so I just followed in his footsteps.
I was an Eagle Scout, and it just kind of naturally fell into going into, you say God points you in a certain direction, and I kind of feel I got that kind of guidance in that way. There was a finger pointing me, go this way. And I did, and I've never looked back and regretted a minute of it.
I beat the draft by enlisting. I knew I was going to have to go because of the job that I had. I worked at the steel, but I was doing clerical work, and which that wouldn't keep me from being drafted. So I enlisted.
A situation where we were on a mission, and the lead helicopter flew into a mountain, and we were able to miss the mountain. Think about that once in a while. It was an experience that you go through, and you come home and you live on.
The last time I was in Iraq, we were sitting down eating lunch, and I was joking around with a couple of these young Marines. We were like 20, 22, and they went out in patrol and got hit with MBK 3s. Well, them guys I was sitting eating lunch with never came back, except in a black bag.
And a lot of people ask, what is the price of freedom? In World War II, there were 56,125,175 people killed in a 6-year war. That means that 17 people died every minute for a 6-year period. That's the price of war. But that's only the physical price of war. What's the eternal price for freedom? How many of those people knew Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior?
Now, one time on one of my trips, I went to a French Foreign Legion facility. And 2 days after we left there and went back to our base, some sappers hit the very corner of the building in the room that we had been staying in. So by the grace of God, we were out there 2 days before anything happened.
The only time I think I did really get scared was when we were up on a roof, and I was walking by, and to this day I'll always thank BU2 Rigo. I'll never forget this guy. He's up on a roof saying, Chief, you got to come up here and look at this. And I'm like, Rigo, why can't you figure it out for yourself? You're a smart guy. He goes, no, I want you to come up and take a look at this. I climb up the ladder and I get on the roof, and all I hear is this ching, ching, ching. We turned around, there's a rocket propellant grenade going down, skipping along the ground behind me. So it didn't go off, luckily. It basically saved my life in some ways.
In fact, I was so much a believer, the one radar site I was at Cape Newenham, John Ballantyne was an Air Force chaplain. In the first Sunday service he held, he said, I have found my replacement. And he said, Sergeant Brown is going to fill in for me on the days that I'm not here. So I ended up being the unofficially appointed chaplain's representative.
Well, my first thought is the leading of the Lord. Because when the adjutant asked me if I'd like to be chaplain's assistant and explained the circumstances, I said, that's right down my alley. And so I felt that God put me there.
Once you start giving orders to people that they could get hurt or even killed, you learn that what you say and what you do affects other people.
It gets a little difficult when some of your friends get hurt or killed.
There are vets today that are still facing a great deal of mental trauma because of what they witnessed over there and what they saw.
And got to really realize the freedoms that we have. We take for granted. We can talk to whoever we want to.
Memorial Day was the day that we honored the dead that paid the ultimate price for the freedom in the country. Ulysses S. Grant started the president putting the wreath on the unknown soldier on Memorial Day.
Well, we remember those, especially those who didn't make it, those who were killed in action or died even later. We honor, it's not only remembering them, but it's honoring them, bestowing upon them our good graces.
My older brother had been in the service. My foster brother had been in the service. 3 of my good friends in high school were killed in Vietnam. And I think of them all the time.
When the Vietnam Memorial Wall was finished, I think it was not until 1990 era that I was able to get myself to visit it. Yeah.
When I think of Memorial Day, I think of all the freedoms we have. I also do reflect back on those who paid the ultimate price.
It's not only remembering them, but it's honoring them.
What really is Memorial Day?